And introducing your host for World News, the one and only Francis Roche!
Woo! Woo! How are you, lads? Keeping all well?
What's the crack? What an introduction.
That was
Fran, what's
that
the story with the
good.
stream? Are we going live? Or can we
we're
talk about dicks?
Let's take it that we don't talk about dicks. Is that alright?
Okay, that will do.
Yeah.
Okay, Fran, tell us. Dermot actually segued into a world news event, and it was the riots in Dublin. It's something I haven't heard of, but what's the story?
Okay, so I don't know if you've heard of. Have you heard of PEGDA yet? It's the anti-Islamic group that they set up. I think it was about a month ago. Was it? Yeah. So it's just in response to taking immigrants in. It's kind of following a trend that's all across Europe. If you remember last week, I was talking about the lads who were doing all the marches in Stockholm and things, the Nazi ones. Built off actually, and I don't know if you saw this on Facebook, and there is a slight humour, and I emphasise a slight humour behind this, but it's also really quite scary. Is some German lads built a Nazi, a World War II Nazi tank recreation for a float, and then drove it down through a town or a village parade, protesting against no more immigration.
Oh my God!
So I imagine that it would be just bizarre to see this thing coming down the road towards you, but what it represents is a little bit scary.
And there was protests in.
No, there's protests going all across Germany, and as I mentioned, Merkel is not going to be re-elected as Chancellor because her local area is the south of Germany where they're planting all these immigrants.
And it's the hub of the immigrants. Yes,
exactly.
Yes.
Now, coming back to Dublin, what happened was, I think it was about less than 100, it was maybe even less than 50, I'm not entirely too sure of the numbers, of people were just doing an anti-immigration protest or rally on O'Connell Street, and about 200 people showed up and just ran them off the street. And I mean, physically, there was people running up and
I saw it from work.
Did you?
Yeah, it was literally, what happened was, it was basically one person got too close, hit the man, and the guards were having none of it. Literally just absolutely started whacking into these lads. And they weren't it wasn't just oh, we're pro-immigrants. These were just lads looking for trouble.
Yeah,
they all had their hoodies up, all had their stuff covering their faces, just looking for a bit of trouble.
They probably just watched Green Street on repeat and were you know what, let's do something.
Yeah, so basically, and then everyone started to run, and the guards were clattering into some lads. Then the riot people came, and it calmed down pretty quickly. But
it's not good, really not good.
So anything else happen in the world, Fran?
Well, Dublin has turned into a crime capital of the world.
A war zone.
Oh God! Boxing weigh-in. This is what happened.
Stop.
There was it was gangland orientated. During the weigh-in, some guy was up on the scale. Poor man. I'm sure nobody will want to box him. Yeah.
The first person to run it was a lad in the Superman jocks.
Jocks. And he looked fantastically in shape. And he was on the scale, and then there was shots fired, and the worst thing was there was children there. One child was screaming what's going on, daddy, and all this. Ugh, hate that shit. I hate that shit. ISIS, down with ISIS. Oh, by the way,
it wasn't ISIS.
I know. I'm just joking. I'm only messing.
The odd one wasn't it that there was the Dublin crime boss who's living in Spain now, and he came back over for the weekend or just to see this thing, and apparently on top of this there was no Garda surveillance unit on him. And you'd think now that a high profile, a really high profile, he's the boss. If he's coming back to Ireland, they know he's coming back to Ireland. Do you not think they'd have somebody sitting
Was
on
that Gary Hutch Senior?
No.
That was different.
These are different
lads. No.
The people think it's connected.
Yeah, because there's another lad that was just killed.
Eddie Hutch is Gary Hutch's brother.
Yeah.
And
so Eddie was killed yesterday, was it? Or the day before?
And his uncle was actually shot in Marbella, I think last September or something like that.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that. That was off the back of the Dundons moving away as well, wasn't it?
It's all
Kevin Dundon.
The Limerick lads. They all piled out. They're all gone.
I can't believe celebrity chef Kevin Dundon has gone into gangland crime. What an absolute player. My brother's actually friends with him on Facebook. He's one of only a couple of thousand friends with him. And he keeps sharing these photos up the road and all this stuff. OJ.
I did a lovely.
But these Kinahans are they are this gangland family is huge.
Oh God, huge. But it's not getting an ISIS style reaction. All these shootings, all these kind of scenarios, because they're all targeted. They're at crime lords. And
they are. And actually, I saw quite a I just suppose, like, you know, people just taking advantage of the situation. Like, there was a kind of a meme on Facebook that I saw the other day of Jerry Adams on the phone to these lads, obviously said, would you not have waited until after the election, kind of stuff. Like,
Yeah, because
it was all IRA related.
Yeah, the IRA have taken...
I don't get why Jerry Adams is on the death threat list of, you know, provisional, or sorry, continued
because he disbanded the former IRA as primary.
Oh, yes.
And they
it.
view him as a traitor. The IRA is a bit of a mess when
if
it
you
comes
ever
to
want
that. It's just like there's a load of groups, and it's very, very hard to follow.
If you ever want to be
basically it goes as Hutches, bank robbers, Kinahans, drug dealers.
Yeah.
And they don't like each other.
Gone.
Madness. If you want to channel your inner IRA, listen into The Week in Politics, which is the hour before us, as I assume. Thomas O'Mahony made a bold statement about loud people anti-IRA. We can make that up in your heads. Okay,
sports.
So
no, we got one more.
Oh, God,
no, Dermot.
I can't wait to get into sports, Fran. This better be good.
This will take. Entertaining news.
Oh, for Dermot.
Just for Dermot. Dermot.
I like this.
A couple in the United States got very drunk one night. And then proceeded to give the keys of their car to their 9-year-old daughter to drive them home. This can be found on Reuters right now. If you Google in weird news, Reuters is the first story. Or maybe it was funny news on Reuters, funny news, and it's there. Like,
but it could be Lewis Hamilton, though. It could be like a Lewis Hamilton figure that was driving from a young age. So you know,
maybe, but like, you know, there's also the fact that apparently they had their 11-month-old daughter in the car with them as well. So it's just like, ooh, I don't know, lads.
Oh God.
If you find it there, Dermot, have a big squawk at that.
If you would like to find us on social media, you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/loosemen. We are now also on Twitter @loosemen_. If you want to contact us during the show, you can contact us via the Contact the Studio tab on the homepage of the BelfieldFM.ie website.